Happy fall, y'all. We are going to be making a pumpkin to start our pumpkin project. We'll be decorating our pumpkin like a jack-o'-lantern next week, but for this week we first need to just draw our pumpkin. What I need you to do first is either take a pencil or go straight with your black oil pastel, and we're going to make 2 dots like so, about not all the way to the top of the paper, but a little bit below. You could go 3 or 4 fingers down and make a dot. You could go 2 fingers here and make a dot. And the next thing I'm going to do is just draw a flat line here, just a straight little line under here. To start our pumpkin, we're actually going to start in the center of the pumpkin, and I'm going to make a big sweeping, kind of like a rainbow or a bow, and I'm going to go the other way to start the center of my pumpkin. Next, I'm going to make my next line. I'm going to come out and swing it down, and when I hit this line, I'm going to go right in like so. And then the other side, do the same thing, swing out and go flat on that bottom line. It's almost like you're creating these parallel racetracks. And again, whenever I hit that line, I'm just going to go in. Here, I'm going to go out, and once I hit that, I got to come in. And I can go my other side and come in, and my other side and come in like that. So here we have a pretty good pumpkin. Next, I want to make my stem, and I can do that by first making an oval like so, and I'm going to connect it down here onto my pumpkin. So now my stem's attached like so. If you want this to look a little more 3D, you can come behind and make the back of the pumpkin like so, and they just come in, so it looks like we're looking at the top of the pumpkin, but that's just if you want to. Okay, next I'm going to take my oil pastel and go over my lines. Remembering when I hit my line, I need to keep it flat at the bottom. And the reason for this is we want our pumpkin to look like it's sitting on something, so it's flat down here. You can do your stem too. And there we go. We have a pretty good little pumpkin ready to decorate for Halloween. So the next thing you'll have is a tray of tempera paints. These are not watercolor. Watercolor are more thin and translucent. Tempera are a little more thicker. So to get my tempera paint started, I have to wiggle my brush and load it up with some color. You'll see the color come onto the brush. If you need more water, you can do that. You get more of your tempera. Now I think I'm going to hit the top of my pumpkin with some yellow. Now if you think about it, if a pumpkin's sitting, the light would hit at the top, and down here would be more darker because it's at the bottom, but at the light it's a little more lighter at the top of my pumpkin. So I'm going to give it some highlights, and those are just kind of like placed on there however you like. We're not going to do anything with the stem yet. Next I can start filling in my pumpkin, and like here I did the highlights, so now I might put in some darker shadows down here. And I picked up that darker orange. So there's a lighter orange, there's a darker orange. And again, it's going to be at the bottom because that doesn't get as much light as the top of my pumpkin. So I got my highlights, I got my shadow. Now I'm going to just take that medium orange and I can start going over all of my pumpkin. You can layer and go over, but it's going to look a little bit lighter where the yellow is underneath. And I'm just doing one section at a time. You see, this is 1, 2, now I'll do 3. You keep a little bit of yellow if you want. So I kept a little yellow there and there. But it's okay, however you want it to look. As long as it's orange and ready to be carved. And you can go right over the oil pastel because it's going to resist the water and the water tempera. If you go outside the line, that's fine. We're going to be cutting these out. And there's my pumpkin. You can always come back and add darker orange. Say you want to really make that look dark underneath. And that's totally fine. But again, we want to have dark color up here because it's lighter on top. You can do that however you like. Maybe in my creases it can be a little darker, but voila. The one thing I want to point out is this isn't one color of orange. The whole pumpkin does not look like this. Instead, I have light, I have some darks, and I have some medium oranges, which is fun. So have fun with your pumpkin. And again, we want it to look super realistic because we're going to turn it into a great jack-o'-lantern next week.